this one comes from the Independent, which is also parsed it from other sources out there. But it's from about my old stomping grounds in Arkansas, and I'm sure some of you already know the hill that we're about to go down here of fuckery. Arkansas passes a law allowing rapists to sue victims who want an abortion.
Fuck! Sorry, getting one in.
A pregnant woman's
as long
husband,
as it's her husband.
Oh yeah, a pregnant woman's husband will have the power to stop her from having an abortion, even in the cases of spousal rape, under a new law introduced in the state of Arkansas. Fuck. Let's see. Most second trimester abortions will also be banned by Act 45, and the title of this act is just dripping with fucking melodrama. It is the most dramatic fucking title
It's the
you
worst.
can give a bill.
It's horrible. It's the most disgusting thing. It's just
the Unborn Child Protection from Dismemberment Abortion Act.
Yeah, they were going to name it Shooting Babies in Their Innocent Little Cubby Holes, but that was just too on the nose.
Why don't we call it the whole, first we dilate the cervix, then we pull babies out chunk by chunk law, you know?
Yeah, we don't pull them out whole. It's by each limb.
No. X. They're not acknowledging the cervix. Come on, that's ooey.
No, of course not, because that
not the cervix.
actually mean they would know what women's anatomy was like. Just like the one doctor, I think it was from the same state, that was like, well, how come they can't just take, like, they couldn't swallow, like, the pill camera thing to get an abortion kind of stuff, where they were talking about that, and they're like, you do realize that those portions are not connected, right?
They don't.
It's just like when you guys, I'm not trying to go off on too much of a segue, but there was a portion of Orange is the New Black where what's her name,
Tasty.
what's it, Cox, what was it, Laverne Cox was saying that,
Oh yeah, okay.
was educating the ladies in the prison about how, no, you have 3 holes down here, not just 2.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
They were like, are you serious? She's like, I should know what the fuck I'm talking about. I designed my own.
I'm not gonna lie. I actually did not know that until I was a grown-ass adult.
Oh, that's too bad. But that's
they did not cover that. They did not cover that in any of my health classes. That the urethra is just under the clitoris, because they did not discuss the clitoris.
Mm-hmm.
Because it doesn't exist.
And is
because the books were
entirely
written by
separate.
people that didn't know.
That's the key to solving Lyme disease, according to
more tangent. Real quick, did you know that the entire structure of the clitoris was discovered back in the 1700s, and the doctor who found it was like, look at this amazing thing I found. It's this entire sexual organ for women. And all of his colleagues were like, oh, no, we don't.
No.
We're not talking. We don't talk about that.
They just looked at it and went,
he's like, why
what the fuck
not?
are you talking about that
like,
for?
No, no.
What about my penis?
I'll be
all
sure.
those other doctors went,
and then
bullshit, that's an octopus. I know an octopus when I see one.
I'll be sure to mention this to Eli tomorrow night, because I'll see him, so he'll be thrilled to know that it's an actual thing.
It is.
You lie.
The ever
all sorts of neat things there. It's like it does all sorts of neat things.
Oh God, I feel like we need David Attenborough to narrate sex ed films. That would be fantastic. And here we see the elusive.
No, I've always liked the portion of Monty Python's Meaning of Life where they do the sex lessons at the boarding school.
Oh yes.
No, we don't just jump straight to rubbing the clitoris. We do kissing. What's wrong with the simple kiss? All right, so this pro-life law.
All right.
This pro-life
there's
law.
A thing.
Go ahead.
We do. Hold on. When we really don't want to talk about something, we diverge into things that are far more fun to talk about. Like Connor, like we don't want to talk about. Let's talk about clitorises. Clitorises are neat, aren't they? Neat.
They're neat. They're really neat. They've got a little thing, and
I hope you don't do it that way. God damn, your poor wife. You're like jabbing it like it's a speed bag. You're
small circles. Lube it up first.
No, you have to move more gently.
Okay, moving on. This pro
Glad to know what I have to look forward to after I get the surgery in a couple months, guys. Thank you so much.
Oh,
There are men who know what they're doing. They're out there.
I'm glad that you still have insurance, Riz. I'm just glad.
Yeah, I had a consultation with my doctor. It's like, when do you run out of insurance? July 31st. Let's get as much shit done as we possibly can, because fuck Trump. My doctor said that.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
So
Let's take care of you. Take care of you, bitch.
Sixth time back to this pro-life law, which was pushed through in just 2 months by the state's Republican government, which is unfair to refer. I mean, it's like people referring to Utah as a mostly Republican place. Yes, Arkansas is very conservative like we are here in Utah, but the thing is, they've also got a great counterculture just like we do. Any place where you have a high concentration of Republican fuckery like this going on, you've also got a lot of atheists in the background. So they've got a great free thinkers group out there.
That's not something you hear very often. Arkansas counterculture.
Oh, no, it's there. I've still got family there, and they remind me every once in a while.
Rebel Rock is pretty good.
Yeah. Let's see. This prohibits all D&E procedures, which is dilation and evacuation for you plebes out there, in which the physician removes the fetus, because this came from a British website. It's fetus. Sorry, fetus from the womb with surgical tools. But the medical procedure will now become a felony in the state, punishable by a $10,000 fine or 6 years in prison.
Motherfucker.
This is going to just run amok of the Supreme Court immediately, because you can't do that.
It's not. Yeah, it's going to be stopped almost immediately. Yeah. They can't do that.
A clause in the legislation also states that the husband of a woman seeking an abortion, if he is presumed to be the baby's father, presumed, doesn't have to be, we know that this is the father, presumed, can file a civil lawsuit against the physician for monetary damages or injunctive relief. So we're not going to...
Monetary damages?
Yeah, you done took away my tax credit. You done killed my tax credit.
That's the only reason to have kids, right?
Oh, from having 3, you don't get that back. You spend a lot more than that every fucking year.
I have 2. I understand.
Exactly. You know exactly what I'm going through here, man. So,
yeah.
Gee, thank you for the $100 tax credit. That's really useful.
That's really useful for me buying one outfit. You know,
it's like 20 Happy Meals. It's great. It's gonna be great.
It's the most huge form. It's the best Happy Meal you could possibly get. I love McDonald's.
Not gonna believe it.
I eat it with a knife and fork. Fuck you.
I'm making angry faces. I'm not making angry faces at you guys. I'm
offended, Felicia. I thought they were at me.
This is a safe space. God damn it.
A clause in the legislation. I already said this part. So
it's not. It is not. He keeps talking about this shit.
The women's going,
and I have to acknowledge that it's real.
If the woman is a minor, her parents or legal guardians can also sue to stop the abortion.
What the hell does my with this? I mean, oh shit.
Did you guys know that before, I think on average the age 22, the risk of death from childbirth goes up significantly? And fuck anyone who's sitting there like, no, people used to get married when they were 14 back in the day. No, the nobility used to get married when they were 14, and they often didn't consummate for years. The reason they got married is because it was political, because they didn't have a social safety net.
She has huge tracts of land.
Tracts of land. The average marrying age for most of history is 22. It's fucking 22, because that's when we're actually adult enough to human women are old enough to handle carrying that in their bodies and being able to birth it through their hips. Like, after, seriously, it's not even and it's like, they're like, if she's a minor, we parents are allowed to put her life at risk to carry a baby, because that's all she's fucking for.
Tell us how you really feel, Felicia.
Oh, I can go on.
I find it hilarious. Like, I think that regular childbirth is just as fucking horrible to a woman's body as a chest burster coming out of John Hurt. I mean, it's that.
Just almost.
I'm really not certain I want to take on the risk. Okay, because we're talking
don't
about this,
blame
I
you.
want to start going over some of the risks that I have been learning about lately. So, splitting the abdominal muscles.
Mm-hmm.
A complete split of the abdominal muscles, which, by the way, cannot be repaired without plastic surgery. But it's not usually covered by insurance companies because they claim it's not a necessary surgery. They call it an elective surgery, even though because your abdominal muscles have split, you cannot stand upright. You cannot support your core. It can cause serious injury to your hips, lower back, upper back, and shoulders because you don't have abdominal muscles.
Are
Your fault for having sex, bitch.
That's what you get for
permanent nerve damage. It can permanently damage your sexual organs. It can it can permanently remove or change the way you experience sex. Some women only experience pain during sex after childbirth. Let's move on. 60 to 80% of women, they're not sure on the statistic because it's not properly measured, have to be cut from their V to their A. Yes, from their vagina to their anus, because I'm not letting you escape with you. Yes, 60 to 80% have to have that happen. That does not, these risks do not, that's just that's just some of the risks. Blindness, death,
That's fucking brutal. That's so
deafness.
metal. I
You can lose your
bringing life into the world.
Exactly. It's fucking metal. It's fucking metal as shit. Deafness. You can lose your fucking hearing from carrying babies.
That would be fucking terrible. Like you're like pushing, you're like and then like all of a sudden it just goes quiet. And you're like,
it's not from pushing,
fuck out
man.
of here.
It's not from the pushing.
And if you're going to start doing voices, I'm going to start doing voices. Warning.
I do voices. I love doing voices.
Yeah, I could do other skeptic podcasters. Fair warning.
Yay! Let me get back to the story because you're not going to fucking believe who the state representative who co-sponsored the bill, what this person's name was. Andy Mayberry. Is this person a sheriff, of that town?
Andy.
Now, Andy.
Andy.
They co-sponsored the bill.
They called, problem, Andy.
Did you leave your gun at home, Barney? Please.
Oh.
They called D&E a gruesome and barbaric procedure. It's not happening to a human being. It's happening to a lump. It's happening to a lima bean-sized lump of,
it's a potential
protoplasm
human
shit.
being that has no feeling yet.
Yeah.
It's a baby.
Oh man, I saw the
I've held babies.
Felicia,
I've held preemie babies.
I saw the argument that you got into on somebody's wall. I'll leave them nameless, but about how they were talking about if the heartbeat starts beating at certain amounts of time, that person's alive. It's like, no, that just means an autonomous organ is pumping the way it's supposed to be. Hearts don't mean life, you fucking idiot.
You can take a dead heart and make it beat.
Be like, yeah, if they have cognition. When do they get cognition? Not for a long time.
The biggest argument I saw this week. The biggest argument I saw this week was
a newborn.
Anyway, go ahead, Felicia.
The biggest argument I saw this week was I care about life and I think life matters. And I said, what about women's lives?
Nope.
Because here's the reality. Here's the very fucking real reality. In countries where abortion is illegal, they don't have less abortion. They have just as much. What they do have more of is women dying. They have more women dying in childbirth, and they have more women dying from botched abortions.
Yeah.
And it's horrific. So if you really gave a fuck about the value of life, you would weigh the less loss of life, legal abortion, over the more loss of life, women dying because they don't have access to legal abortion. That's the real fucking reality. If abortion is legal, women die.
And
a lot of women die.
Felicia, I'd like to add on to your point a little bit. And,
please do.
It's not about life as much as it is about this particular sect of a religion believing that sex deserves to be punished because they treat pregnancy as a punishment for having sex. So therefore,
only women though.
Of course, but when they treat it that way, they also consider the pregnancy and the responsibilities that come with it a punishment for being a harlot. So, you're stuck with 18 years of taking care of a baby because you shouldn't have been such a whore. But at the same time, they say they love babies. How do you sit there and say that this is a punishment for the worst thing you could possibly ever do, and then turn around and go, it's the most precious gift of all time? It doesn't work both ways, God damn it.
It doesn't.
And to add on
but
top
the
of that,
men who want to have sex with those women, are not punished.
No, because
they
they're
are
just
not
men.
punished.
It's just
boys
we
will be
can't
boys.
help it.
Yeah,
Boys, yeah, with the
women
boys
for procreation, boys for men for pleasure.
The boys are gonna be boys. What can you do? What can you
Look,
do?
I got the sex bruises to prove I'm as horny as any man.
that's
Okay,
not
I'm
possible. No.
let's skip the rest of this story and talk more about that. Go on.
Go on.
Yeah, because all I've got is someone
Can
saying,
you describe your bruises?
Because the only thing I have for this one is a co-founder of a abortion support network saying, I don't know how this bill has become law. I mean, that's pretty much the rest of it here, because there is zero part of me that understands why a rapist or someone who got someone pregnant against their will, maybe incest, would have
It's
any
only
right
been since the
in that decision.
1990s.
I can't.
It's only been since the 1990s that a husband can rape his wife.
I cannot.
It's very recent.
I can't wrap my brain around the fact that there would be anyone who thinks otherwise. So it's just,
you remember the 2012 election where they said that, you should look at rape as an act of God, and even though it's terrible, it was meant to happen if it produces a baby. That's their insight. It's, hey, everything is predetermined, so that baby was meant to exist, therefore good, I guess.
Boy, I love getting in the philosophical argument with hard Christians about stuff. I'm like, oh, so you believe that everything has a purpose and everything has a plan, God has a plan, and it's going to be working. So essentially you're a hard determinist with extra steps,
Yeah.
So you're trying to tell me that this clockwork universe that we live in was put into motion by a supreme being. How about it just is? It just is. Let's just go with that one, and they go like,
well, those are
I'm like,
those are
why
really
are
fun.
you fucking praying? Why are you praying if it's all according to his plan? It's like,
well, yeah, those are really good, because then you can say, well, why are you then trying to, or why are you even advocating for passing laws like this?
You might have to repeat that because you robo-voiced fucking hard on that.
It was pretty bad.
Was just me. That was just me stuttering.
So, yeah, you've had a lot to drink tonight, Kyle.
Yeah,
Not really that much.
That was the God we're talking about interfering with you spewing.
Yeah, so you can then ask them, why are you advocating or trying to pass laws like this? Why are you trying to restrict actions or behaviors if everything is predetermined?
Because the real goal,
by an omnipotent creator, why are you interfering with his plan?
Yep.
The real goal is to control women and their bodies.
Oh, yeah.
It is to own them as possessions.
Because they
and if if her husband or her parents can make decisions about her health for her, then they own her. And they can do whatever they want with her.
Yeah.
She's theirs to trade.
I'm still stuck on sex bruises. Can we get back to the sex bruises?
They're in the shape of the end of the writing crop.
Ooh.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
So that's what 50 Shades Darker means.
Everyone froze.